Okay then guys, the 2v2s are back in action. We got Cry playing as the Water Spider Exarch, going to abuse the teleportation here. Getting up very quickly into the middle of the map. Great here on this map. Go Gotha Depths because you've got these annoying garrisons in the middle which can be very tricky to deal with early on when you're dealing with that teleporting hero. But the downside is, he is no longer contesting this side of the map. And another thing that you can do with the Water Spider Exarch, you can rush this building here, which can be very good because you'll be shooting the Lord General. And IG in the early game, obviously, you're not really able to dislodge units from buildings. I mean, not many factions can. But you know, if you're another faction like Chaos, you can get GL ticks, you can get flame attacks, you can get burner sluggers. These things are decent in combat, so you might want to get them a little bit earlier. You don't really want to get Flame the Guardsman as IG, so you got to wait for Calcium Devils, and they're a long way off. So, Gotha Depths, it's an interesting map insofar as it only has one natural power point, as you can see here. So we've got Leo built, playing on the other side, teaming up with Fog, Tech Marine and IG. Pretty classic heroes for the team game kind of thing. Interesting that Leo has actually opted to rush this side and put his PC in here. Not his PC, sorry, what's that? Tech Marine. Yes, Tech Marine is fighting a PC. Because it's delayed his power, and as I say, there's only one power point on this map, so often you will see these double CSM strategies because you end up having excess requisition compared to what you might typically have, simply because of the fact that you only have one power farm. It also means that fighting over these contested powers that you can see on the north and the south side really important on this map, which is why I do question Cry's choice to rush the mid with the Water Spider Exarch as opposed to this garrison here. I prefer to go after this garrison. But obviously it's a trade-off. Right now you can see the Water Spider Exarch there in that building in the middle, really kind of immune to damage. But to be honest, he is actually taking some damage. God damn it, I forgot again to turn off the to go offline rather than invisible. Why do I always do that? I don't know. Now we see some deployable cover coming up. Probably want to do that over here as well. I mean, they're trying to take advantage of the tank traps, which are working somewhat. I mean, you can see the Water Spider Exarch really is taking his time to get through these guardsmen. Water Spider Exarch needs to get out, actually, because you've got potential melee and retreat. Okay, smart. Teleports over that direction. A bit odd to not take the Water Spider Exarch completely out of play there. He obviously needs to heal. This flank from the Heretics is not going to achieve too much. Yeah. The Aspiring Champion was en route, but a little bit too late. And just skirmishing on the other side now. What's Leo going for? Leo has gone for some Devastators, which are going to be matched by the Havocs of Deimos, and Calcium Devils are coming out for Fog. So you see that Leo only has one tack versus the 2 CSM of Deimos. That is because Leo built all the gens here, which is great for Fog because he, as an IG player, requires a lot of requisition in the early game. Cadishans are quite a requisition-heavy purchase. You've got your double sergeants, your sentinel, and then you've got a hero that bleeds requisition as well. So Fog has a lot of requisition demands, so he will really appreciate that Leo has built the gens. But the downside now is that Leo only has one tack against 2 CSM, so he might struggle with that. Grenade launchers are now coming up for the Lord General. It's going to be quite a nice tool to deal with the garrisons. The beauty on this map, you can position your LG here, the Shuriken can't shoot them, and you can kill the Shuriken. So that's nice. You can also position him up here and other areas like that. So quite a lot of line of sight blockers actually. Do the Calcium Devils get some melee hits? No, they don't. Nice defensive Devastator play here, supporting his ally Cry. Now Cry built 3 gens initially. It appears that 2 of them were bashed, and Deimos then chose to repurchase them. So Deimos and Cry are now got pretty even economies. They've both spent a fairly even amount on generators. Cry has actually spent a little bit more, but Cry, his units are a lot cheaper in terms of requisition than Deimos is. Leo has been using his scouts and they've caught all this side of the map. We're probably going to see a lot of that coming forward. Ooh, sneak attack flamers. So it looks like they're going to run down the back here and go for the gen farm. Now obviously if you can get away with bashing the gens on a map like this, it's brutal. Because there's only one gen farm, right? So you bash that shit, you can get a crazy tech lead, assuming that you don't let the opponents start building gens on one of the contested powers while you're doing it. However, it must be said, it's quite a hard gen farm to bash. I mean, the distance that Leo has to move from his base all the way to down here is really quite tremendous. And the base here for the Eldar is not far at all from the gens. Let's see if there's going to be any response. I mean, Kadishan Devils are down here. Basically, there's nothing from blue team around. This is really bad for blue team. They've been caught with their pants down big time. Remember how the scouts were used to capture this side of the map? Now look at Deimos committing all of his primary mobile forces to capping this side of the map. Where is the PC? Coming out of base with the Havoc. So Deimos is all on the north side of the map. The Water Spider Exarch comes along, probably wants to tie up the attacks in melee. Won't be able to beat them 1v1, but we'll be able to delay the bash. But the problem is, Kadishan Devils are right there, so they can do a lot of damage to the Water Spider Exarch, and this stall is not going to last for very long. We need the Shuriken moving back. Instead, it appears that Cry is pushing forward. So Shuriken here, yeah, all of Cry's forces are in this sort of area. This is a big mistake. I don't know what Cry's doing. He needs to get his units back here and protect his gen farm. So we've got a situation now where Deimos and Cry are going tier 2, but they're very, very low on power. We see that they're trying to compensate at the blue team for that by building nodes on the uncontested power, because you remember that a power point with a node on it is 9 power income, whereas a generator is only 10 power income, so that's basically a generator, so it's something, right? Still not a full gen farm, but it's half a gen farm for them. Crackshot actually been using the Guardians here. Give them a bit of extra range and damage. I mean, it's okay. I don't think... Ooh, was that a wipe? That was a wipe. What just got wiped by all reliable rangers? So Kadishan has just wiped the rangers. And nice combination there of Devastators plus Scouts easily forces off the Havocs. The Havocs can only focus fire one of them. If they focus the Scouts, then the Devastators will suppress them. And then the Havocs lose. If they focus the Devastators, then the Scouts just run forward and grenade them, so the Havocs lose. So a nice little 1-2 that you can do there with the Devastators and Scouts to force off enemy setup teams, even though you don't have ASM. So at last the Attack Flamers got caught, but it seems they're going to get out of here with no model losses. A little bit of CSM melee retreat. Yeah, not enough. They did their job though. Look at this. Full bash and a decap on the power farm. So that's pretty huge. Fog is already tier 2, as are both members of the blue team. Leo is nearly there. Creeping Basilisk Barrage going out. I think that's a bit of a whiff though. Quite poorly timed actually. Yeah, easily dodged. Wow, easily dodged by everything. That is a massive whiff. That is a really expensive global that he just threw away to basically no benefit. Kadishan Devils making a bit of a mistake there. They should have actually been meleeing the Shuriken. That could have been an easy retreat wipe, but just caught in the wrong position. There's units absolutely everywhere right now. We've got the Heretics decapping the top. VPs are pretty even. A little bit in favour of the red team so far. It's quite easy to hold a 2 cap on this map though. You know, if you position your troops around here, you can defend this VP and the mid easily. Likewise, if you position around here, you can defend this VP and your natural. So I wouldn't worry too much about VPs in this map. I think for the first 10 minutes, even 15 minutes, just fighting over the power is far more impactful. So Bloodletters are the choice for Deimos. I guess that's going to be used to counter the Devastators. Not many units out for Cry at the moment. It's going to be a Falcon. I find that questionable against IG, especially when a Sentinel's still in the field. We've got basic Stormtroopers, no upgrade yet, so they could get melter guns. We've got double Stormtroopers now, wow. But it appears that Leo is doing nearly as bad as Cry is. So what did he just drop? He dropped his Tech Marine, which is now repurchased because he has an absolute shitload of requisition. Wow, really does have a lot of requisition. Deimos with 600, Leo with 550. But he also lost his Devastators there, so the Bloodletters paying pretty well for themselves right now. Look at that healing from the Nova Worship. Very nice for the Bloodletters, get them back up to nearly full HP. Water Spider Exarch are not really achieving too much in this game so far, gone down once again on the far side. Perhaps some Shimmer Orbs could be useful. to protect the Falcon if it over-engages. And just help get decaps and things like that. You know, stop the Allied units from being shot while they're trying to cap VPs. So right now the Falcon could just bully its way through the Sentinel and actually do more damage than the repairs. But the problem that Cry has is the Stormtroopers, which have now got... Oh my god, we're going to see double melter guns. Ooh, that's scary. That's really heavy commitment to anti-vehicle, to be honest. Especially because these guys are prone to bleeding quite a bit, but... Man. If he gets both of the melter bombs off simultaneously, it will 100% snare the Falcon. And then you can imagine a Falcon, not the tankiest of vehicles, it will not take a long time to kill it with 10 melter guns. Problem right now is there's nothing dealing with the Shuriken. Very sloppy. Terrible engagement for Fog there. Walks his Stormtroopers right into a Shuriken, and basically all of his army gets suppressed. Banshees are hacking away, dicing up Stormtroopers, and that is a lot of pew pew. And the IG army is soundly routed off. I think these Banshees are going to be a real problem for IG now. Whilst they don't put in a lot of work in Tier 1, Tier 2, when they get that extra ability from their Exarch to give them the 50% damage resistance to range when charging in with fleet, yeah, they become super scary against IG. And the other problem is Falkers... I mean, I don't really know why he took that engagement like he did. The Kadishans were nowhere to be seen. They obviously needed to be nearby in order to A, disrupt the Shuriken with Hold Reliable, but B, to help control the Kadishan, to help control the Banshees. But they weren't there, So on the other side, we've got a bit of a skirmish going on between Dreadnoughts. We've got the Chaos Dreadnought for Deimos, which has the autocannon, and it's got soft melee resistance, so it takes 20% less damage from melee, whereas the Space Marine Dreadnought will take 40% less damage from melee, and it is a far superior melee combatant. 20% extra HP, bit more damage, don't know how much more, maybe about 10-15% more, maybe about 20% more. But repair support will come into things here. And this matters. A melter gun on the Tech Marine for Leo right now. So that is going to swing things massively in the favour of Leo. But not if the Tech Marine gets suppressed, right? Looks like Cry is being battered on this side. He had that really good engagement, but oh, is the Falcon dead? Oh no, wow. Interesting. I guess it got ambushed somewhere around here and it had to drive through here to save itself, but it is now stuck with... What the heck is that? 6 HP, and one thing that I didn't consider is Cry actually had his Guardians get wiped earlier on, so he's got no repair support. Now he has repurchased those Guardians, but they're now at the wrong side of the map. So Cry is relying on Deimos to try and repair the Falcon, which is not going great. Plague Marines and Bright Lance here could be quite scary for the Dreadnought. How much range is on this Bright Lance? Not enough. It's a shame he used Crackshot on the Guardians earlier at the Power Farm instead of here on the Bright Lance. That could have been brilliant. I think there was a bit of mismicro there from the Plague Marines as well. They didn't correctly chase the Dreadnought, so it didn't remain snared. So little misplays there. Maybe could have took out the Dreadnought, but it's not a big deal. They do win this engagement. Now the problem for the blue team that is very quickly turning into a big deal is actually the VPs. Now looking at less than 150 VPs for the blue team to 383 for the red team, and like I said, can be tough in the late game to get VPs back. So you don't want to be down to 50 VPs and have to take back 383. I mean, you can do it, because it is possible to hold those 2 VPs quite easily on this map, but it's not ideal, is it? Guardsmen here getting precariously low, Banshee's just slicing away at them. And once again, good disruption on the Stormtroopers there. Looks like this might be one wiped Stormtrooper squad. Honestly, this might not be a bad thing for Fog. Rangers there managed to snipe the Sentinel under Crackshot. You don't see that every day. So that's a good little play there by the blue team. Really, that was all just Cry, to be honest. So he wiped out one of the Melter Stormtroopers and he took out the Sentinel. But, honestly, not that big of a deal, that one. Because the Stormtroopers did their job. Well, actually, no, they didn't. What am I talking about? The Falcon's still alive. I forgot it managed to get away with like 6 HP. They did get another good bash down here. You can see that Cry is responsible for replacing all the generators, and he has to because Deimos has actually been bleeding quite a lot. This is a bit of a scary position for the Falcon. P-Devs unfortunately are facing the wrong direction. Maybe an attack ground into this location could have took out the Falcon. A little bit of a misplay there by Leo. If the P-Devs were facing the correct direction, man, P-Devs shots down in this vicinity would have been brutal. And once again we see the Falcon sneaking away with very low HP. 39 HP on that Falcon. One more shot of the multi-melter from the Dreadnought would 100% have killed him. There is also a Tech Marine in the middle of this action. I don't know why the Tech Marine wasn't shooting at the Falcon. Obviously there is action everywhere at the moment. The IG army was trying to support their buddies, but got routed by a noxious cloud. But it's not too bad for them, as they didn't have any of their units wiped. Points are being traded back and forth on the north side of the map. Looks like the Tactical Space Marines for Leo are going to move up and take them. He has 2 now. Don't know when he got the second. Perhaps there was a drop pod at one point. Mark of Tzeentch has been given to one of the CSM, not both of them though. Mark of Tzeentch, of course, will be very helpful in dealing with the enemy Tactical Space Marines. And a Warp Spider squad calling for Cry here, which I find questionable. They're going to be bleeding a lot, but perhaps it was a play in order to try and take out this Dreadnought. This Dreadnought right now really needs to be tied up in melee, and a bit of a miscommunication here between the players on the blue team. The Falcon is moving forward to try and finish off the Dreadnought, but the Chaos Dreadnought of Deimos is too busy trying to stop the revive of the Tech Marine. Oh no, this is a disaster. Oh no, no communication between the players at all here. The Chaos Dreadnought should have been tying up the Melter Dreadnought this whole time, outputting damage, and then between the Plague Marines, the Falcon and the Chaos Dreadnought, this would have been a dead Dreadnought. Now the Chaos Dreadnought did manage to, wow, not only stop the revive, but actually killed the Lord General, so that's nice, but unfortunately the Falcon has gone down. Now we do see the Haywire Grenade, the second one coming out again, and with the Plague Marine nearby, that might be enough to finish off this Melter Dreadnought. It is level 3, it is getting repaired by the blessings of the Omnissiah Global of the Tech Marine. But will it get any support? No, it's going to die. One more missile shot combined with the Bloodletter Swords. Yeah. It's down, and this is now looking quite brilliant for the blue team, actually. Triple cap in favour of the blue team. They've got 73 VPs left, and they've got just under 250 to deal with. They're going to get a full power bash off here, which will be okay. Leo kind of has an infinite amount of power, but Fog actually doesn't, because he's spent so much on this Lehman Rust battle tank, which is now going to hit the field. Let's see what it can do. Of course, it can chip away slowly at the Chaos Dreadnought. It's going to get hit by a Haywire though, but these Water Spiders need to be very careful. Yeah, they're going to retreat out. Again, Kadashan Devils failing to get into the correct retreat path here. They do eventually. Not enough. Wow, huge amount of damage onto the Lehman Rust here, presumably from a combination of Plague Marine missiles and the Chaos Dreadnought. Chaos Dreadnought just forcing melee, but oh, this is a really bad spot for the Chaos Dreadnought. I think it's dead because the Melter Stormtroopers are here. You've now got the Lehman Rust getting its double repairs, shooting away at the Chaos Dreadnought with support from Melter Guns. Melter Guns are getting temporarily disrupted by the Autarch, and the Plague Marines are pushing forward as well. This is very close. There is a Crack Shot Bright Lance. That is the play that was needed. Crack Shot Bright Lance adding just enough DPS there to tip the scale in favour of the blue team, and the Lehman Rust is taken out in the base of Fog. That is going to be quite a demoralising moment. Chaos Dreadnought knows it can't survive this, so it is going to just force melee onto the rather vulnerable Melter Stormtroopers. After all, they're the only things that do significant amounts of AV damage, but the Chaos Dreadnought is finally taken out. Rosters on both sides looking relatively thin now. Only 4 units at most for any of our players at this period of the game. VPs are now normalising as well. 73 VPs for the blue team to 100 for the red team. This is going to be a tight game in the end, with surprisingly fewer units than I expected. Very liberal usage of Crack Shot here from Cry. Crack Shot on the Water Spiders will absolutely melt light infantry though, so those Kadashans are very wise to Old Reliable and leg it. Sounds like a good plan. No War Gear upgrades on the Plague Champion. Let's have a look at War Gear. Water Spider Exarch down again. Honestly, the Water Spider Exarch has done not a whole lot this game. feel like he's been down most of the game. Maybe died like 3 times, and he's only level 1. Just the grenade launchers for Fog's Lord General, and yeah, we've seen these, the orbs of the Omnissiah and the melter gun for Leo. Didn't actually see the orbs be used particularly well in any instance, but of course it could have been. It says 2v2, I might have just missed it. Signum armor coming out now makes sense because there are Chaos Terminators on the field. So very tanky boys, these guys, super heavy infantry, so you really need to get Plasma or Melter to try and deal with them. See, the Tech Marine is doing some pretty good damage actually, but unfortunately goes down. Really overstays his welcome there just to get a Signum armor mark off. But all these bolters will do jack shit to the Terminators. So nice little purchase there for Deimos. Oh god, another Lehman Russ is out there. Man, Fog's clearly not been bleeding a lot. Able to pump out these Lehman Russes quite easily. But hey, at least it's 1 Lehman Russ and not 2 that they have to deal with. Certainly easier. Bright Lance has survived, wherever it is. Where is the Bright Lance? Probably in a webway gate, I imagine? Yeah. So they have AV, they've got the Plague Marines, they've got the Bright Lance. Chaos Terminators could get an autocannon as well. Chaos Terminators are getting a little bit low though. I mean, they've lost a third of their HP. The Chaos Termies, they don't have as good regen as the Loyalist Termies, because they're using that shitty heretical armor. But they do have better melee resist. Well, they have 20% melee resist, Loyalist Terminators have not. But to be honest, right now, they'd really appreciate the HP regen, I imagine, because let's face it, there's not really any melee threats for them to be fighting right now. A decent attempt here. We've got Crack Shot once again on the Bright Lance, trying to disrupt the pathing by teleporting behind and meleeing the tank, but I don't think it's going to be too effective. Plague Marines are still present, and honestly, looking at this actually, this looks quite bad for Fog. He's kind of left his tank really isolated. I don't know, he seems to just be too ballsy with these tanks. Pushing them too deep, and look at this, we've even got a fusion gun on the Autark now, so yeah, that's going to be at the end of the Lehman Russ, and these Lehman Russ, they're just not achieving anything. You're fighting a tier 2 army, and I mean, well, Terminators, which aren't really that big of a threat for a Lehman Russ. Speaking of Terminators, they're going up against triple plasma guns now, so they get absolutely melted. Who'd have guessed it? Unfortunately, you know, just sending Terminators in alone against triple plasma gun attacks is not going to be very effective. They need support. So Deimos loses them, and wow, VPs are super low right now. 15 to 10. Oh, but the webway gate plays might swing this in favour of Blue. Blue do still have their natural VP. I mean, they need to cap a point. They're not capping. Oh, Red Team have lost. They're not capping. Yeah, they're too far away from capping the bottom. That's a shame. That is a shame. I think, yeah, they would have lost anyway. There's no way the Guardsmen and the Cadishans here were going to beat the Water Spiders and the Plague Marines and the Tick. It literally is a Tick. It's one aspiring champion heretic. Interesting. Crazy game. Nice webway gate usage here. Why is this purple? Weird. Why the hell is it purple? But that swung it there. Crazy game. Quite a lot of misplays. Bit of a sloppy 2v2, but it's nice scrappy 2v2, constant action. That's why we like the team games. But, you know, I feel like I covered most of it. Tell me what you thought below, guys. Do you enjoy the 2v2s? I enjoy the occasional 2v2s. It's nice to switch things up now and then. Thank you for tuning in, folks. If you want more, check out the Patreon. Top it out.